You ever read a sentence and realize there's a whole story packed inside? I mean, a beginning, a middle, an end, all of it? Well, that's exactly what we're going to do today. We're going to unpack just one of those sentences to see how an entire community, at this one crucial moment, basically decided its own future. So, let's dive in.
And really, what this all comes down to is this one big question. It's not just some dusty old history lesson, right? It's about something much bigger. How groups of people, together, actually shape their own destiny. That question is going to be our guide through this whole thing.
Okay, so our story kicks off way back in 1748. And believe it or not, this entire explainer, it's all based on a single statement about a huge decision made that year. Our job is to basically pull it apart, piece by piece, and figure out what it all really means. And, the whole thing breaks down into three pretty clear parts, all happening in that single year. First, you've got the gathering, then the decision that they made there, and finally, the plan for the future that came out of it. It's a really simple but super powerful little story.
All right, so let's set the scene. I mean, if we're going to get this decision, we've got to understand the context first. The who, the where, the why. And the first part of our sentence, it's got all the clues we need.
So, who are we talking about here? The who in our story is the Khalsa Pump. They're the community right at the heart of this whole thing, the collective body of initiated Sikhs. And that's important. This isn't just some random crowd. It's a very specific community with a shared identity, a shared purpose. And where did this meeting happen? At Sri Anandpur Sahib, a place that's just loaded with historical and spiritual significance. I mean, the location itself tells you this is a big deal. So, okay, we've got the people, we've got the place, but when was this all happening? And the timing was just as crucial. It was during the festival of Hola Mahalla. This is a time when the community traditionally gets together anyway. So think about it. The scene is perfectly set. You have the right people in the right place at exactly the right time to make a major decision.
Okay, so with that scene in our heads, we get to the real turning point of the story. The action. What did the Khalsa Punt actually do? This, right here, is where that single sentence gets really, really interesting. The source uses these two little words that are so important, collectively agreed. Now, think about that. It doesn't say a leader ordered it or some council decreed it. The wording is super specific, and it's critical. It tells us that the entire community as a whole came to an agreement. It points to this unified, kind of bottom-up way of making a decision.
So what was this big agreement all about? Well, it was about changing the location for their next huge festival, Baisakhi. They all decided, together, to move the celebration from where they were at that moment to a different, but just as important location, Sri Amritsar.
And this wasn't just about changing a venue, like moving a party. No way. This agreement was a really conscious, forward-looking plan. It was a deliberate shift in the community's focus, not just on the map, but symbolically too.
Which creates this really fascinating dynamic, right? They're all physically there in Sri Anandpur Sahib for one festival, Hola Mahalla, but their minds, their collective will, it's already on the next one in Sri Amritsar Sahib. It's this crystal clear pivot from what's happening right now to what's going to happen next.
So here's the kicker. That one little sentence shows us three really powerful things about this community back in 1748. First, they had foresight. They were planning for the future. Second, unity. They agreed on it together as one. And third, they had a shared purpose that was driving this whole shift.
And there you have it. It's pretty amazing, right? We started with just a single line of text, and by pulling it apart, we found an entire narrative. We found the people, the place, the central decision, and the plan for the future. A whole story, just hiding there in plain sight.
So it kind of leaves you with this one last thought. We're always looking for those big, loud moments in history, the grand declarations, the powerful commands that change everything. But maybe the future is actually decided more often in moments just like this one. Not by a single person shouting an order, but by the quiet, powerful hum of a community agreeing together.